The following podcast is brought to you by the Ebb Tide Treatment Center. Many people wrestle with addiction. You don't have to. Reach out to the Ebb Tide Treatment Center, where they wish to empower each individual encountered with the support, hope, and tools required for long-term sobriety, priding themselves on providing the best possible treatment experience for you and your loved ones based on unique needs. They're committed to breaking the stigma that plagues those suffering with addiction and their families by educating and bringing awareness to the community. The Ebb Tide Treatment Center provides individual and group therapy, multiple recovery pathways for support, evidence-based clinical support, integrated aftercare social reintegration, personalized treatment planning, program addressing whole life health, and Vivitrol program, all available. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, reach out to them at ebbtidetc.com or call 844-430-4357. Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
jkprince.com.
Ah, yes, and that voice you heard, none other than Joshua Bishop, one of the members of Team No Consequences, also joined by the Bone Collector, Dominic Garrini, AIW owner, John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy. I'm your moderator of sorts.
I thought I'm the president now.
No, we switched it back. There's too much going on, you know?
Too many titles.
Too many titles. So we had to take one away and give it back to Wadsworth. We will have episode 2 of the Swaggle AMA next week. But this week, we've got 2 guys from the Akron, Canton area on. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. That show coming up this Saturday, March 10th, at the Tadmore Shrine. Make sure you grab your tickets now. There are still some available. So jam-packed show. But before we get all of that, we're recording this the day after NXT in Cleveland, which the 4 of us attended.
We did.
It was almost like an AIW show of sorts.
It was a great time.
No, it wasn't an AIW show of sorts because I'm pretty sure they made about $75,000.
A lot of alumni there, though, which was pretty cool. Like on the show, we all ran into plenty of fans. Always good to see all of you when we're out and about.
Shout out to Adam Laporta.
Shout out to Thrift Store Jobber.
Oh yeah, Thrift Store Jobber was there. Caden, Johnny,
Justin Summers.
Justin Summers was there.
Reese Thurbridge.
Yeah.
Oh, he was sitting in my. He was snuck into my private booth somehow.
Oh, man.
My Invader fucking booth.
Bibbs.
Oh, Bibbs.
I can forget Leonard Bibbs.
He's right next to us.
Going hard.
Oh, I didn't see Bibbs. All right.
Oh yeah, I like to go down to the lobby during intermission in NXT, do my meet and greet down there.
What did you charge?
I was charging 10.
10? Photo op or
Yeah.
just signing?
just photo ops. I didn't have any 8x10s.
Oh, okay.
Trey Lamar had to make the decision between a John Thorne photo op and that Finn Balor T-shirt.
Oh man, Trey Lamar was going in at the fucking merchandise
Was he?
tables.
Today he was going in, sorry, he forgot his keys here.
He was just buying everything.
Posters, wristbands,
Posters,
party
buttons,
cups.
T-shirts, and so much more.
There was a dust up between Josh and Josh. We had
Oh,
we had a pull apart in the lobby there.
We had to pull Prohibition and Bishop apart.
You got to know where to run an angles at, guys.
Well, that was last night, and also a huge thank you because I know he listens to the podcast. Johnny kind of gave a nice speech at the end there. He gave Thorne a shout out, but then gave one to Chandler. And those of you that did the Chandler Biggins chant, that was just awesome.
And I do think it needs to be mentioned that it was a really like a special moment up until Dave the Potato ruined it all. Because Johnny Gargano was thanking people, and people are chanting, and it was really kind of embarrassing for me because they put a spotlight on me, which
Yeah.
I was not prepared for. And then they do this Chandler Biggins thing, and then there's like 5 seconds of silence, and Dave the Potato, in total Dave the Potato fashion, goes, "What about Dave the Potato?" And then Gargano just goes, "All right, guys, have a nice night, everybody."
Just complete no.
I think he was going to talk forever up until Dave the Potato ruined it.
I did talk to him before the show, and I asked him, I said, over under on your AIW farewell speech. And he's like, oh, I'm going to try to top that.
Yeah, well, if people wanted it topped, you could thank Dave the Potato for ruining it, because I think he was going to talk for a long time up until that.
He was trying to surpass that hour and a half speech he gave, but it did not happen.
But yeah, it was cool. I was able to locate our AIW Women's Champion last night.
Yeah, we found her.
Yeah, I found her. She was there. It was good to talk to her for a little bit and catch up with her. It's kind of crazy to see how far she's progressed in a short amount of time. Because I thought she was good before, and then the match that she had last night, I mean, I'm sure it'll never see the light of day. You know what I mean? I don't think they taped that stuff,
Right.
But it was pretty good.
It was kind of like I talked to you, Thorne, that it was kind of like a master class in how to like work a body part and be a heel while working that body part.
Yeah, the thing about the NXT shows is like they're like really. This is like a throwback to maybe some older fans, but they're like really polished ECW house shows. Like it's just like super polished. Like everyone has their spots. They get crowded interaction, and they're fun. Plus, I get that private booth up there, which is cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
But Pat Lucy, Juicy Lucy, and Reese were in there, taking up spots. They wouldn't let Garrini in my booth.
I don't.
We had to get our separate booth.
Well, what's funny
outside
is
the building.
I got 2 sets of tickets. I got one set from Ember Moon, and then Shayna got us another set for Dom, and they put us on complete opposite sides of the room. Like it was like we were
Yeah.
like the Ember and Shayna people were not going to interact like properly. We were completely across from each other.
We did not see Ember though. She was not there last night.
No, she was in Florida.
But shout out to Jingle Toes. I got to kick it in that booth. Duke.
You
got
you delivered Melt to the roster, right?
Yeah, we took Melt.
Which little birdie told me that all the production staff ate all the sandwiches and none of the wrestlers got any. And they were very mad.
What a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Huh.
Not that everybody should be smashing Melt before they go out and
Albert
perform,
was pissed, man.
What was it? We were on your side though. We were over there. Who else did we see there last night? Britt Baker.
Oh, yeah, that's what she does. She just follows NXT around the world. She's at every NXT show.
I mean, if you were at NXT Cleveland, there are plenty of people on that show last night that you've seen at.
It was like a family reunion.
Yeah.
I just wish that whole family would come to an AIW show. Then we'd really be talking.
Yeah.
We get them all in one place. You guys could be having that fun once a month.
Saw Mike Baker.
Oh, of course, I love Mike Baker, former AIW owner that tried to get naked in the ring once. He's now head of the security.
That's right. Matt Justice there, working security. It was a good time. Good
Yeah,
time.
and, I got to see Drake Younger, which was cool.
Yeah.
He told me a funny story about how He watched Billy Gunn versus Chris Hamrick from Cleveland All Pro at the Performance Center with Billy Gunn, which I found interesting. I also saw Chris Hero, which was cool to see Chris Hero for the first time, I think, in a year. And he kind of pulled me aside, and we had like this weird little talk because like a lot of people don't really know. Maybe I don't think he ever brought it up on the podcast, but Biggins and Chris Hero kind of had like a weird relationship. Biggins always thought that Chris Hero hated him. It was like this. There was like something that happened in like 2007. Where they had like a disagreement about something, and like Biggins from that day on thought that meant Chris Hero hated him. So even after we booked him several times after that point, but it was always like Biggins was always like felt awkward about it or whatever. But they never talked about it. And last year at NXT, like it was weird. Like they finally talked about it and like hugged and took a photo together. And like it was like this gigantic weight lifted off of Biggins' shoulders, and Hero brought up like he pointed to the exact spot where all that happened, and it happened in the Agora after the last NXT house show that was in Cleveland, and he was like, "Dude, can you believe a year ago, we were sitting here like burying the hatchet, and now he's gone." And it's just crazy because like I think that was in March, and Biggins got sick in like the third week of March, so that was probably like 2 to 3 weeks before he got sick, which is wild. But it was nice to have a short little conversation with Chris Hero. I don't know what else we could really say about NXT. These gentlemen students were out there flyering for the Akron show this Saturday.
Indeed.
How'd that go?
I lost my voice because we ran out of flyers, so I was just screaming outside.
Do you want to give the people an idea of what you were saying outside?
This Saturday night in beautiful Akron, Ohio, come see Ricky the Dragon, except I'd like yell it a lot more, but I'm not going to right now.
Yeah, I got neighbors, bro.
Yeah, Steamboat. And then I would just yell at other matches, and I would yell for Absolute Intense Wrestling. And then random people would come up to me and say, "Hey, we're already going to the show." And I'd
So
say,
you
"Cool."
were good. You were good at your job, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if this episode's dragging a little bit. I'm a little hungover from the NXT festivities last night.
Yeah, like that side of the room looks like you guys have seen better days.
I got my venti mocha going though, thanks to Steve Guy. I'm waking up here. We're recording this early in the morning. It's about 12:30 p.m. It's a little too early for me.
The sun just rose.
Yes.
What's up? Dom's got his Monster Energy.
Dom's he has no concern about this podcast. He's just reading on his phone.
Straight from 1980 in his Zubaz pants and Converse All-Stars.
All right, so let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, so let's go into this show, Akron, Ohio.
This is
this is your big thing, Dom.
Yeah.
This is my terrifying nightmare thing.
I mean, it's a lot like our Tequila Jack's experience back in December of, we wanted to kind of try to expand markets within AIW. And Akron's been one of those markets that kind of we've looked towards the Akron Canton market. It's been one of those things where we've had a lot of like issues finding a proper venue. So back from when I was, helping corner guys in MMA, I always remember the Tadmore Shrine being one of the better venues in the area for MMA fights. So I decided to finally reach out to them, and I had a meeting, and it was one of those things that me and John, we talked, and we thought, hey, let's go ahead and let's try this.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, Akron has always been kind of on my radar from just being around independent wrestling for almost 20 years now at this point. Like, I would say, like, in the early 2000s, like, I saw Batista wrestle on an indie show in Akron. Well, it was at Stowe, Ohio, which is pretty much Akron, Ohio. And it drew, like, this is, like, pre-Batista. This is, like, Leviathan Batista. And it drew, like 1,000 people in, like, I don't know, the year 2000 or something like that.
Wow.
And indies used to draw huge in Akron. And it's just all of a sudden it's just like it's kind of like when you always hear like those like weird like documentary like pro WCW guys where they're just like 8 million people just stopped watching wrestling now, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing. Like Akron was like this like kind of booming area of like not like really promotions, but like gigantic spot shows, and it just kind of all went away. Like I know up until like the mid 2000s, like indies were running the Canton Civic Center, which is where like the WWE runs. Like
right.
indies were running in there and like
wow.
you know, drawing pretty well.
Yeah, I remember going to a show. I have this picture from when I was like 6 or 7 with my dad from a show at the Canton Civic Center, and the main event was Billy Gunn and Buff Bagwell.
6 or 7. 6 or 7, he says.
Yeah.
What was that, like the 2004?
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh my god.
I think a lot of that, John, just goes back onto the, you know, like it was a hot territory. Too many people tried to put their fingers in the pot, and then when those fingers went in the pot, the show quality went down, and people were just like, "Oh, you know what? Forget this."
I mean, I don't know like a ton about my Akron history. I kind of wish Pedro was here because Pedro would go to these shows. He always tells me about them. They were promoted by this guy named the Green Hornet, and like he would run these giant spot shows with like names in high schools and stuff like that. And that's the thing. Like there wasn't a lot of promotions. Like it was just like these gigantic shows that would happen in Akron all the time, and then that's kind of went away. And I've always wanted to go to Akron, but it's kind of like a fear because I don't know Akron, Ohio. You know, even though it's only like an hour away, like it might as well be, you know, another world to me. You know what I mean? I don't know the area. Like I know Cleveland. Like one time, somebody, I think it was Mike Quackenbush, he said, "How come you guys just run Cleveland?" And we're like, "Because we live here." Like that's like I know what to do here. You know, like and how you promote in Cleveland might not work at how you promote in West Virginia or, you know, wherever.
Right.
So Akron's kind of been the weird unknown for a while, but you know, luckily we've been, you know, somewhat successful in the last, you know, 9 months or so, and we have a little bit of like breathing room to try this experiment.
Yeah, and we're not just bringing some regular. It's not like we're bringing a bar show or a B show. We're bringing, like Josh said, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. For crying out loud, he's coming in.
Yeah, which was, you know, I had been to go. I knew that if we were gonna go, we needed to go big for a debut, and you know the plan is the plan is this is if you know if we can build this up. And it's successful the first time, then, you know, we can go to Akron a few times a year, and, you know, we can continue with the meet and greet guys, and, you know, people that, you know, we've used in Cleveland a few years ago, we can bring them back, you know, for Akron and you know, kind of build up that, you know, a new fan base there, you know, like,
right.
As we were talking about NXT last night, you know, there's 1,500 people there, and the majority of them seem to have attended AIW at some point in their lives, but like you just can't get all 1,500 at an AIW show. So the plan is to, you know, go to Akron and try to kind of build onto that, you know, that pot of people to pull from every show, because I don't think, you know, there are definitely people that come to every single show that don't miss, you know, the Laportas, the
right.
Albertis, you know, the Cadens, Bibbs, you know, like there's like AIW has like almost like their own crew of set fans that come to every show. But then there's people that, you know, you see 2 or 3 times a year or something like that. So my thought process is if we can build Akron up and get that general base up, that maybe it will help the Cleveland shows and, you know, the Akron shows to be profitable. That's kind of the, you know, I know this might be kind of boring business talk, but that's kind of the point of independent wrestling is like you got to have like a giant base to pull from, because everyone's not going to support you every month.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Alex Mundial Keller. That's right, Alejandro Kellar, telling you all about at Thrift Store Jobber, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, etc. There was the NWO. There was the BWO. Maybe one day there will be a WWO, the weird WO. But at one point in time, one shining day, all those luchadors in WCW, they stood against that shit and they said, hey, fuck this. we're going to be the LWO. And that's what this shirt is, ladies and gentlemen. Size extra large, brand new. Is that dead stock or is that brand new? What's going on here, Thrift Store Jobber? I'm going to find out at Instagram, Etsy, eBay, etc. And I'm going to use promo code WORLDWIDE, not Mundial, and get 10% off my order.
We got a new sponsor on the show this week. That's right. We finally have locked down a new sponsor, and that sponsor is Pollyanna DIY. This one is, it could be for fans, and it can also be for promoters and pro wrestlers alike. The enamel pins, the lapel pins, whatever you want to call them. That is the new hot merch item these days. Every wrestler has them. Every wrestling promotion is getting them made. And Pollyanna DIY is the cheapest place in which you can get those made. I've done a lot of research, and I've compared a lot of pricing, and Pollyanna DIY was by far the most affordable for wrestlers and wrestling promoters. And not only that, they also have merchandise for sale for fans. They have an awesome Memphis t-shirt. Chris Hero, I believe, has worn it on NXT television, and they have a great Extreme Roots 91 tee with Eddie Gilbert and Cactus Jack battling in a barbed wire match in 1991. Just great stuff. Please support these guys over at PollyannaDIY.com.
We're bringing some of the AIW favorites. It's not like it's an all-student show. I mean, your tag team champions are there, so Swoggle will be there.
And I know we've talked about this before, but to us, Swoggle's just a roster guy, but to the general public, he is a WWE guy,
right?
That was on television for 10 years or whatever, and making $8,000 a match, as we learned.
DJ Z, who everybody loves, will be there. Josh Prohibition. Going to be there?
Which I think, actually, TNA was the last wrestling company to run the Akron Civic Center outside of WWE, like a couple years ago.
Yeah, they would have been the last one, the Civic Center down in Canton.
I mean, Josh would know. He's a big TNA fan.
I'm a big TNA fan. I can't confirm that TNA definitely was the last place to run there.
There you go.
He's loving that Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, TNA, for that Twitch account. Watch it every day, at least 2 hours, probably.
Oh, my God.
Big fan. Big fan of this Ron Killings, Jeff Jarrett feud that's going on right now.
Enough.
At one point, I woke up last night. Well, I should say this morning. Might have been like 7:30 in the morning, and from my bedroom, I can still hear TNA being played on the television in the living room. Just going. I don't think Josh was awake at that point, but it was still rolling.
Sorry to transition points here on you, Steve. I think another big reason as to why we made the decision to try the Akron market too is because of Josh, Trey, Lamar, and myself, because we're all three from the Canton, Akron area. So we think it's a good chance to pull family and friends that might not want to make that hour trek to Cleveland, and come a little closer. We have a good base right now around that area, I think.
Yeah, and of course, we booked the show when Josh's entire family and their extended families doing like a family reunion at Disney all week.
Bishop Brigade.
Right. Bishop Brigade will not be in full effect.
I got no excuse for that.
Kid gets his dream match.
Yeah, the dream match.
I'm not going to say anything bad about your dad.
Neither am I.
The dream match that has been talked about on this show before, and you're getting it. Josh versus Josh. What are you thinking when you spit in his face?
I was thinking like, wow, I really just spit in his face. Is this real life? Yep.
I guess let's get into that. You're really the only big angle heading into the night. But what did you think about that whole ordeal? Like, and what Josh Prohibition said to you. For people that don't know what we're talking about, we've got a dilemma. We'll be out on DVD and MP4, I believe, this week sometime, so you can see this in its entirety. But there was a little altercation with Josh Prohibition and Joshua Bishop here, and Joshua Bishop is. It's no secret that Josh Prohibition is like his favorite wrestler outside of Jimmy Jacobs.
I'm a big fan of both of them. So it was pretty crazy. I mean, he was saying a bunch of nice stuff about me. I was pretty happy about that. And then the tables turned a little bit. And he was mad at me for not coming to training one day. Didn't ask me my reason why I didn't come to training that day.
Do you want to get that out right now?
No. Nobody's gonna know why. And so then he was just saying a bunch of mean stuff about me. I thought we were gonna be buds, maybe be a little tag team on the side of no consequences. But then said some mean stuff about me. So he basically told me to spit in his face. So I just spit in his face. Said I did it metaphorically, so I just did it for real. And then he hit me with a chair. So now I'm just gonna have to put him back in retirement, I guess.
I mean, your good friend Gary the King Baller saved your life.
That's true.
Right?
Gary the King Baller saved my life. Thank you, Baller. He's gonna give me the drunken driver on a steel chair, but Gary saved my life, so I live to fight another day.
And this will be heavily explained in the We've Got a Dilemma recap episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so putting together this card, it was just like, let's do, it's kind of like, let's do the highlights, right, of AIW, because we got to assume that there's going to be quite a few fans that are new to the product. So my thought is, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat should hopefully get, the big time wrestling fans through the door. And then, let's utilize our students from the area and put them in marquee matches against people that they want to wrestle. I gave them all choices on who they would want to wrestle. In which they, I did my best to try to accommodate them. Trey Lamar, I don't know about him sometimes, but so it's like this is kind of like it's not a bar show. It's like this is just kind of like gonna be my kind of like infomercial type of show for like what AIW can offer, and I think using somebody like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is a good start.
Yeah, it comes back to like when I went to talk to the venue and I gave them posters and they literally just go, "Oh, this is gonna be like no pro wrestling we ever had here before." Like they were very complimentary and they understand that it's gonna be a little bit of a different experience.
So they're pumped about it, is what you're saying.
Oh, the venue is extremely excited to have us.
Whose bones will you be collecting on Saturday, Dom?
Your good friend, Edward Kingston. I had a conversation with Eddie as he was on his side job as Goofy at Disney World when I was down there on my vacation.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really excited, all jokes aside, to wrestle Eddie. Eddie was one of the guys that I kind of grew up watching. Like when I first started watching independent wrestling, Eddie was one of those guys that, I loved. And, I've been waiting to wrestle since, I started wrestling. So when John gave me the option of who to pick, and Eddie was one of them, I jumped on the opportunity.
So not only are you guys both wrestling in your own backyard, but like John said, you kind of got to pick these opponents. And like these are matches that you guys have both wanted for some time, at least. So this is a huge deal to you guys from the Akron Canton area.
Yeah, it's a really big deal because even as a fan, I never thought like an AIW show would be closer to me than it is now, and it's cool now to just be wrestling on that show and one of the marquee matches.
I mean, we're really trying to build. We're really trying to build like almost. I don't want to say a territory, but almost like a territory, So like we can go to Cleveland, we can go to Akron, we can go to Mentor on the Lake. And then, who knows, where we could expand from there. Like, I don't think we're ever going to expand too far outside of Ohio or anything like that.
Yeah. But,
it's just part of, trying to continue a way to keep the company afloat, and not burn out the Cleveland market, because I understand that, it's hard for people to come and spend money every single month. And,
sure.
So we're just I'm trying to find out a middle ground, and thankfully, things like, the Tennille Dashwood meet and greet did well, and that kind of set us up to be able to take this risk.
Dom, I think people would be upset with me if I didn't ask, but since you actually finally took a vacation and you were at the wonderful world of Disney, are you a little bit more relaxed now? Has your relationship with Dr. Dan improved?
I mean, Dr. Dan's Dr. Dan at this point, but I would say my duties at the AIW Academy, I've improved upon those. Josh has seen me, so I think it's been better, right?
Definitely, Dom.
He's not going to tell you if it wasn't.
Right.
Nah, I think it's been better. You know, it's been one of those things where I've been going really hard, you know, for the last couple of years since I started. So it was nice to get a break.
And I mean, here's the thing: is like, where it's kind of unfortunate for a lot of these guys that, you know, all of you guys that are here, even right now, you've all been thrust into these responsibilities to where you maybe don't even know exactly what needs to be done or how to do it, but it was just like you guys were almost, you know, just products of circumstance, and you were just kind of thrown to the fire, you know, like Steve has taken on jobs that, you know, he doesn't necessarily know all the ins and outs of. Dom has been forced to do a lot of things. You know, Dr. Dan, worldwide, all these people are taking on all these tasks to where it's kind of like trial by fire and learn as you go. But you know, there was a time where, you know, it was just me and Biggins just burning ourselves out, and with Biggins leaving, all like this gigantic void opened up, and thankfully, you know, you guys have stepped up to try things out. But like Dom was saying, I think Dom was getting a little stressed out and burnt out, and you know, it's just probably just the creation of just the circumstances that you know, have been thrown his way and everybody's way. You know, we've all been at each other's throats at different times over the last year or so for different reasons, and it's just a lot of the stress of trying to keep this company afloat and learn these jobs that, you know, that you can't, there's no, you know, I get these emails all the time like, hey, how do I learn how to be involved in wrestling? Like, there's no training class for that, because there's no there's no explanation for the things that you're going to need to do, you know, like it's like, you know, hey, Steve, you got to call this guy who wants us to have a birthday party. You know, and like
these are real things.
Figure out you know, where we were going to do a birthday party at a house, you know, and like stuff like that. Like you can't just be like, hey, guy from Facebook, here, figure this out, you know. So like, right. And it gets stressful because there's not a right or wrong answer to a lot of these things, and Dom was putting a lot of pressure on himself and getting a little edgy, I'll say. Yeah,
I would say, you know, if you've listened to the Death Row episode, obviously that would be proof of my on-edgeness. But, you know, hey, we got a dilemma. No ring issues, no yelling. You know, I'm a new man.
Everything went way too smooth.
The magical kingdom has changed me.
There was actually ring issues, kind of, but you weren't paying attention.
Good.
They were hidden.
Hey.
If you didn't notice, the ring was not ready until doors opened immediately. Like that.
No, we did open doors earlier.
We did, but the ring still wasn't ready until I had to have Pedro go and you know, tighten some things up. I actually talked to Pedro, and I said he's going to have to give all of the new students and the old students a class on Saturday at the Akron event, because I assume we're going to have plenty of time, because it's not like Mount Carmel where we're going to have to wait until 4 p.m. to get in.
Right.
So Pedro plans on thoroughly going over all of these things.
Yep. Had that discussion with the venue. They're going to let us in nice and early.
Yeah, what time, as we talk about it, what time will doors open? What time can people expect to be there? We don't have hey, you can't park until 5 o'clock.
You guys could come and tailgate for all.
Yeah, and to be honest with you guys, like, I'll explain the venue a little bit here. There's a lot of tailgate space outside, so like, cool. Tailgate guys, I know you guys are down a little from that area. Come on up, tailgate. I don't think they're gonna have a problem with it. As well, the venue guys is a real nice and spacious venue. I'm sorry to inform all of you, Monsoon Classic will not be running the concession stand. The Tadmore Shriners will run their own concession stand, but there will be beer available. There will be concessions available. A full set of full bleachers in the back available. Overall, I think this is going to be a real good looking venue for us. You know, perfect entranceway setup. Full bathrooms, guys. So it's going to be great.
You got to have those bathrooms, because, you know, I hear some
bathrooms.
I hear some of these venues in Cleveland, they don't have them.
I hear some of the venues in Cleveland don't. I hear some independent venues in general don't.
But and I know that this is one of those podcasts to where you guys look forward to the funny stories and stuff like that, and this is kind of a more business one, but the Akron show being a success is very important. Not only for everything I talked about, but this venue looks really cool, and it's gonna look shitty if it's not packed. Because it's a really nice looking, cool venue.
Yep.
It's gonna have a totally different atmosphere and vibe, and like Dom said, there is beer available. People were very concerned that there wasn't going to be beer, so there's definitely beer available. And if it goes well, they said that our next date they will open up a full service liquor bar.
Yes,
Ooh.
that has closed circuits, so you can
Wow.
actually sit at the bar, watch the show on the closed circuit.
Don't tell people that. We want them to still be sitting in the.
Hey, I mean, there's not a whole lot of room in the bar, but this was an option that was given to me when I spoke to the venue.
Josh, will you be on Tinder all week promoting the show?
Oh, absolutely. My profile picture is just a flyer.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear.
Let's run through the card too. I mean, we can give a little card preview here, I believe, Steve.
Yeah, well, we know we have. We talked about your guys' matches, Josh and Josh, Dom, Eddie Kingston, Trey Lamar will be taking on DJ Z.
And here's the thing: I think we always bust on Trey Lamar, but I think he's probably the best raw talent that's come out of the AIW school. He's just a very young and naive gentleman. I'll say that. Him and Big Twan are very similar in their naiveness. Is that a word?
Naivety.
Naivety.
Very good, Steve.
Sorry, man. I didn't go to college. I just promoted professional wrestling.
No, I agree with you on that, Thorne. And I think that this is really a big opportunity for Trey. And
it's a big opportunity for Mr. Josh Bishop if he comes to training.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and tightens up his in-ring game.
I've been coming to training a bunch lately.
No, I don't know. I didn't see you there.
You see me every time I come. You say something about how many times I've been coming.
That was because Thorne had to light a fire under your ass.
That is true. He did. He definitely did.
But yeah, I think back to Trey, I think this is a really good opportunity. I think that when you look at his style, a guy like DJ Z is gonna be able to show him the way and kind of guide him into how to have those singles matches. But it's guys like Trey and that haven't really had the chances to have singles matches in AIW per se. They've been, part of these No Consequences 5-men. So that I think it's a cool thing for Josh and Trey to get those big marquee singles matches.
Yeah, no one talking to Trey. He's definitely very excited about the opportunity to wrestle DJ Z. Also on here we have a rematch. It's the Production taking on the Philly Marino Experience and Weird World, or otherwise known as the Weird World Experience. So that'll be.
I mean, that one was just one different piece. Colby Red is out and Eddie Only is in.
Yes, that's right. I was going to say Danhausen now part of it, but we'll get
Just
that
for
at a
this
later
match.
date. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But this match was one that really impressed me at the last Music Links show. Because you never know with old Worldwide. Worldwide's Worldwide is he's a lot of bark and not a lot of bite sometimes when it comes to his wrestling ability. So I don't know. This one was just.
What was the quote about Worldwide in that match?
Oh, he's fucking Magnum CK made him look like Tully Blanchard. I mean, he was, just something clicked with him, and it really worked. All those guys worked very well together. So I thought that this would be a really good kind of, like I said, we're trying to showcase AIW and use the show kind of like an infomercial to be like, hey, if you like this, we'll bring this back to the Akron area, again. And I thought that match was really good at Music Links. I hope I'm not jinxing it right now, but I think that it could only get better this time.
Well, another guy who is returning to AIW. It's been almost a year since he was here. We all had a blast. I know, getting to hang out with him and meet him. Kevin Thorne makes his return.
Wadsworth, Ohio's own.
That's right. Unfortunately, he's going to take on Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. Poor Dan might be a little hurt. You might have to go easy on him a few days after that, Dom.
Dude, Kevin Thorne, Mordecai.
I'm not even the meanest person at the training center to Dr. Dan anymore.
I mean, this dude is fucking
Jacked.
jacked as fuck. And
He's coming as a vampire this time, right, Thorne?
yeah, and I guess he has a ton of family from the area.
Right.
He's from there originally. So, like, he is just coming to fucking perform in his hometown. And I think he's fucking just... I think he's just going to be fucking piling Dr. Dan's soul to the sky. Like, I fully intend on watching Dr. Dan's soul exit his body in the Tadmore Shrine.
With the mural of the camel on the wall.
Yeah, like he is just. I feel bad for Dr. Dan because Kevin Thorne is fucking pumped about this, and Dr. Dan is. I don't think he's going to put up with any of his Dr. Dan bullshit. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think there's a chance Dr. Dan gets gorilla pressed by Kevin Thorne on Saturday?
Yeah, right to heaven.
Well, we mentioned her name earlier because we saw her last night, but also on this card that will be there Saturday is Britt Baker, and she's going to be wrestling Karen Q. It's a nice little return. We haven't seen Karen Q in some time since we really haven't done Girls Night Out. I think that was the last time she was here.
It was about a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, she had probably one of the best Girls Night Out debuts. Probably ever against Kara Hogan. It's just and like I was talking about the circumstances and things. That Girls Night Out show was the last show that Biggins was ever at, and Girls Night Out has been kind of indefinitely placed on hold just while we get things situated, and all these people are getting contracts and signed, and it's just like let's just take a break on that. But I thought, since we are debuting in a new territory, a women's match would definitely be a good fit for the like I said, this is like the sell AIW package to a new city kind of thing. And Karen Q is extremely talented.
Yeah.
So I'm I'd been talking to her to try to bring her back for something for a while, and it finally worked out. And another thing. Is when we were raising money for Chandler's family to help with all his expenses for his funeral and medical stuff, she donated a considerable amount of money, which she worked for us one time,
Right.
Which I never forgot that either.
So no single titles on the line at this show, but the tag team titles will be on the line as twins, PB Smooth and Swoggle, take on The Party Never Ends.
Oh, I hope we get new champions so bad.
Dude, like the thought of Big Twan,
The big Twino Bambino.
having a belt and just talking about it on his Periscope has me very excited. The idea of that.
I mean, Thorne, do you want to go through the Big Twan finding out about this title opportunity?
And for those who don't know, this
I'll let
tag
you-
team is Big Twan and Twan Tucker
Pierce.
and Parker Pierce.
Pickle.
So, this one of the funnier parts of this was on, I believe it was a Death Row episode, we talked about how Parker and Twan would be getting the next tag title shot.
Right.
And Twan thought that we were just joking. So he hits us up in one of our student chats and goes, "John, you serious about that title shot?"
And I said, absolutely.
And Big Twan goes, "Say no more." And then he came to training the next night and goes, "Yo, you all being serious about that title shot?" And me and Thorne are like, "Yeah, man, we're going to announce the match here in like a day." He's like, "Okay, time to get to work then." He's got to do it. He's got to do it for his trainer, Johnny Gargano.
And he just started doing some weird, like, football fucking things where, like that thing where you get in a 3-point stance and
Yeah.
like, roll to your back and, like, back in the 3-point stance. He's doing all kinds of weird shit like that. at
Ready to
training.
go, man.
I don't know if he understands it's not a football game.
He is woke and he is ready.
The seeds were planted when he once got to hold Johnny Gargano's.
NXT tag title.
Yeah.
So
And he wasn't allowed to post the picture, and then he posted the picture immediately.
oh, Big
He's
Twan,
wanted to be a
favorite.
tag team champion ever since. He's wanted that tag team gold ever since.
Yep.
So
Well,
he will get
he's
his
got,
chance.
He's got that chance Saturday night in Akron.
Oh, I hope he beats PB Smooth and Swoggle so badly.
You want to see?
Oh, I want Big Twan to be champion.
You want those tag titles to be woke?
Oh, yes.
Am I missing anybody else on this card?
I don't know, but Parker Pierce is probably gonna fucking take that right to fucking some house party if he wins that belt. He's gonna lose it in a game of beer pong. Because that guy is not a gimmick. That is exactly who he is. He was just bonging beers outside of NXT last night.
That is true. Oh, we did see him at NXT also.
Yeah.
Double fisting.
Yeah, of course he was. He had a beer bong with him outside in the line.
It's like we lost Kaplan, but we gained Parker Pierce.
I don't know if we gained it. I don't know. I don't know, man. It might be even swap.
All right. Well, I think
that's the announced card, of course. As has been the
probably have some unannounced matches.
Unannounced matches ready to go.
We'll see what happens.
Leave some surprises out there for you guys. But those are the main attractions, at least. I mean, the solid stuff. We've talked about it over and over again here today. Anything else as we wind this one down, guys?
I mean, we only have general admission tickets remaining.
Good to know.
So those will be $20. I want to see all the Cleveland people there. I want to see new Akron people there. And let's see if we can, really turn this into more than just a one-off event to appease Dominic Garrini.
Oh, it's not just me. I mean, obviously, I was the one that started the idea of doing it, but appease Josh Bishop, appease Trey Lamar. For a guy like Chase Oliver, this is a closer, central location for him, coming from the Youngstown area. So, in general, just I think the more markets and the more places we can run are better. There's a lot of fans from that area as well that drive up to the Cleveland area, that are regulars up at AIW. So, get out there, tell your friends, let's pack the Tadmore Shrine,
Let's fucking pack it, brother.
And let me find my final thoughts. Let me end with this. We'll hear from Josh. But if you are from Akron and you've come up to the Cleveland shows and you've always been like, man, I want to go to those after parties, but I got to drive back down to Akron or Canton. And now you're wondering, but wait, will there be an Akron after party? Yes, there will. We are working on the location, so hopefully we will announce that to you this week. So stay tuned. Follow AI Wrestling on Twitter.
We got to announce it this week.
Yes, we will announce it this week. Within the next couple days, hopefully here. Go, Josh, final thoughts?
Yeah, AIW, it's coming to the Dirty 330. My hometown. Let's just pack it. Let's have a great time. Let's get after it. Sorry, I was distracted by the TV for a second.
And La Resistance.
Yeah, and I think we'll just have a great time. It's going to be a great show. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your moms, bring your dads, because mine won't be there. Bring your siblings, because mine will be in Florida. And
no one else go to Disney.
Yeah, no one else go to Disney, please. Someone shut down Delta this week so that my family can't go. And we'll just see you guys this Saturday.
There you go.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Come on.
Yeah. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
I got some dope 8x10s made up, too.
That he did.
Like, I found some, WrestleMania 3 promotional photos. I got some I got some WCW originals, 8x10s, black and whites. So, scoop those off of eBay.
He'll have the title with him.
He's bringing his IC title with him, his Hall of Fame ring.
There you go. What's the pricing there on the meet and greet?
20 photo op, 20 autograph, $30 for both. So a $30 combo package. It's probably I don't think you're gonna find Ricky Steamboat cheaper than that probably at any convention or anywhere else. And I don't think he's ever done a signing in this area. And if it's probably the only signing he does in the area.
Yeah. So at the very least, come for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Stay for all of the wrestling. That pretty much does it here. Hopefully we see so many of you this coming Saturday, March 10th, Tadmore Shrine down in beautiful Akron, Ohio.
Located right off I-77, real easy to get to, real
nice and convenient.
There's a Waffle House right there.
There's a Golden Corral, so you know where Worldwide will be before the show.
No any Asian buffets around the area there?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty.
All right.
There's Chipotle right next to the building, guys.
Tommy Lee's.
Yep. There's a lot of food options, so if you guys want to get down early and you don't want to pregame, but you want to hit food options up, plenty of food options in the area.
Some T-Bell.
There's Tom Chi, which is like craft grilled cheese sandwiches.
And I want to see, I don't know what the weather's like yet. You never know. It's been so sporadic, but if it's over 40, I better see some tailgating going on. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Plenty of space for it. So for Josh Bishop, Dom Garrini, and John Thorne, my name's Steve Guy, and we will talk to you guys next week right here on AIW's The Card is Going to Change.